When your name's Hiro, you really don't need a nickname. But Hiro Sumida is also affectionately known as the Junk Man. The reference is to the well-worn JDM Chaser he's driven and crashed so many times in the past 3 years. In 2007, Hiro will be behind the wheel of a brand spanking new Lexus IS 350. He's Japanese by birth, but had to learn how to race going straight before he could go sideways. Meet Hiro Sumida.
I was born in a city called Ashiya in Kobe Prefecture in Japan. And I was born in 1976. And I grew up in Japan till 9 years old. Since then, I've been here for 21 years. That'll make me 30 years old.
Ooh, the big 3-0.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So tell me, Hiro, how did you find your way into competitive motorsports?
Major exposure to motorsports, serious motorsports would be ACC Solo 2 Autocross. And that's actually when I met Taka too. And we used to travel to different states, all the way to Kansas, Topeka, Kansas, for the national championship. And he taught me a lot about car control and being prepared to race and everything pretty much about racing.
Hiro, when you're drifting at a Formula D event, do you drive for yourself, for the fans, or for the judges?
Mostly, I drive for myself. And when I do well, that excites the fans as well as the judges. So I know what I can do and what I can't do. So I try to push myself to my limit and get as close to the wall as I can, as fast as I can, as much angle and smoke as I can. And that usually, when I'm able to do all that, that ends up to be a good result for the crowd and the judges.
Historically in drifting, the most popular cars have been sedans or small coupes from Japan. Generally very high revving, small engines, very often turbocharged, but really family cars. Now, here in America, we've gone another way. It's big Detroit iron, heavy cars, big cars with lots and lots of horsepower. Is there much future left for the small Toyota Corolla, the AE86 in today's drifting world, or is it all going to be about horsepower?
I think it's good to see Chargers, Vipers, GTO, Solstice, because we're racing in the United States, and that's where the domestic cars should compete against Japanese cars. Drifting is becoming more of a horsepower race. I think Corollas have a lot of chance too, but as far as, let's say, the smoke aspect, it's hard to compete against 600-700 horsepower cars. And entry speed, it's very hard to match the same speed that we could, just because of the fact that bigger horsepower can accelerate faster. A lighter car can go into the turn faster as long as they have enough straight line to accelerate to that point. But they can slow down faster. If you're giving a limited amount of straightaways, you have to depend on your horsepower to accelerate.
In 2007, you're going to get your hands on a brand new car. What's that going to be like?
Well, I don't know too much about the new car, and I know what it is, and it's gonna be tough to say what I'm gonna do with the car. This is a car that nobody has done anything to with, and I don't know too much about the engine, the transmission, suspension, or the diff, how much power it's gonna hold, or how it's gonna handle, what the spring rate's gonna be, what the dampening ratio is gonna be, and what the gear ratio. It's gonna be a whole new experiment. So I believe it's gonna take a little time, but at the end, it's gonna produce good results, I think.
When will you get your first shot inside this car, do you know?
That's a very good question. I don't know at this point.
Hiro, as a driver, is drifting your destination, or is it a path to someplace else?
One motorsport that I'm dying to do would be rallying. So I've been a rally fan for the last 10 years or more. And one of the reasons I started drifting was, well, rallies, it's not really drifting, but they really drift in a lot of the corners. If I could get into rallying through the results from drifting, that would be ideal.
You know, so many people who attend a Formula D event become immediately excited about drifting, and a lot of them want to find out how they can start doing it themselves. Hiro, if you had one piece of advice you'd give to somebody who wants to get into drifting, what would that one specific piece of advice be?
If you want to learn drifting, first of all, you have to buy a rear-wheel drive car. And the only thing you want to buy after you have your own car is buy a limited slip differential, aftermarket one. Stock one usually doesn't work well, so get an aftermarket mechanical LSD. And then don't worry about suspension, don't worry about anything else. And that's all you need, a car and a limited slip, or maybe extra tires. You'll go through a lot of them. That's all you need, and come out to any of the drift event around here. You know, we have a thing called Drift 101 through Drift Days, and you can sign up to that, or there's Just Drift, you know, Drift Buffet, a lot of events going on around, so you can check the website, or you know, just come out. Don't hesitate, and just come out to have fun. There's a lot of help out there.